Smile 2 is the direct follow-up to the 2022 horror movie Smile. This is also directed by Parker Quinn, stars a whole new cast, however, and follows a pop star named Sky Riley who is infected with the Smile demon and needs to get away from it after a bunch of unfortunate events from her past come back up in her current life. So I was actually really excited for this movie. I liked the first Smile a lot more than I thought I would. I liked it a lot more than I think people really gave it credit for. I think it's a very tight, entertaining, and scary horror movie. Yes, it's very jump scary. No, I don't think what it has to say about mental health or anything like that is all that nuanced or deep, nor did I really need it to be, nor did I really care for it to be. I just think it told a simple story that was entertaining enough, to grab me. And it genuinely was scary. With this movie, it felt like they could go deeper with the concept. I feel like they were going to let Parker Quinn, or is it Parker Quinn or Finn? I think it's Parker Finn. I think they were going to let him be more visually creative. We saw glimpses of that in the first one, and the trailer for Smile 2 really, I don't know, gave us hints that this movie was going to be a bit more creative. It was going to have more going on in the visual department, and that it was going to be scarier on a larger scale. Obviously, with a larger budget comes a larger scale, comes, more creative decisions in the scare department. And what we got was not that whatsoever. This movie was boring. I'd rather watch like modern SNL 10 times in a row than sit through this thing again. I would rather listen to an endless loop of Newfound Glory. I would rather revisit direct-to-DVD sequels of comedy movies from the 70s. You know what I mean? I would rather sit through all of that schlock than sit through this boring as hell slog that I got no enjoyment out of whatsoever. I do have to give Naomi Scott a lot of credit. I think she did really well in this role. I think that with the script that was given to her, it doesn't allow for a lot of, I don't know, depth or dynamicism at all. I don't think her character really goes through a major change or an arc throughout this movie. I think she just kind of is doing the best with what she's given, even though it's shitty writing. Okay. But I do really, I thought that in the big emotional moments during the scares, she was there, and she worked really well with what she was given. I think her performance shines above anything else in this movie, and I hope, I mean, a lot of people are liking this movie already. I think it's doing well at the box office, so it's not going to tank her career at all. If anything, I think more people are going to be paying attention to her, even if they feel similarly about the movie as I do. And that's the one positive I can give this movie. Really, it's the one thing that I can take away from this and be like, oh, I liked that. That was cool. The rest of it is just such a like a nothing burger. It's so lifeless and limp, and relies way too heavily on cheap jump scares. So what I mean by the cheap jump scares, it's the ones that it's just relying on showing a closet that's empty. The character goes into the closet, showing another angle of the room, nothing's there, showing the closet again with the character turns around, go back to the nothing, the nothing space, there's something there, loud crash. It is a formula that has been beaten into the ground for as long as I've been alive, and this movie doesn't do anything with that formula to really even to get me to jump or to be startled at all. Like, when I talk about good jump scare movies, I talk about the original Conjuring, the 2017 It movie. Those movies, while, again, there's not a lot of depth beneath the surface, there's not a lot to grab onto in terms of characters or anything like that, they at least make an attempt with those things, and they put a lot of care into those jump scares and setting up an atmosphere, making these characters seem intimidating and ferocious and scary. The original Smile did a much better job with that in making this Smile creature seem more intimidating. This movie, it becomes obnoxious because a lot of it is, you know, very long, drawn-out conversation mixed with these cheap and lazy jump scares that feel, I don't know, that just feel limp. The entire appeal of this kind of movie is not there. It never hits that mark, and it just comes off as weak. I also think narratively, this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and not like from a plot hole, yada yada. It throws a lot at you, and it's trying to be mind-bending in a way. Again, like how the first one introduced, it's not simple enough to grasp onto, but it's not complex and thought out enough to be anything but muddled, if that makes any sense. This movie feels disjointed. It feels directionless narratively. It feels like it's reaching for something that the screenwriters just couldn't get a hold of, and it ultimately kind of crashes and burns, especially towards the end. It is a great example of why you shouldn't really bank on lower budget horror movies doing well, because they always do well. You know, we've seen it a million times, these shitty, I don't know, jump scare ridden, you know, appealing to everybody. They do well. They just do well. Horror movies always do well in the box office. This is a tried and true thing that happens. Like, look at Terrifier 3 that just came out. I saw that movie, and I don't even really like the Terrifier movies. It got people in the seats. This movie is going to get people in the seats, especially in October. People love going to the movie theater and getting scared with a big audience. And I think, you know, that's what happened with the first Smile movie, and we actually got a halfway decent movie out of it. Again, not the best thing ever. I don't think that movie is anywhere near a masterpiece or anything like that, but I do think that it tapped into something that people were missing from horror movies, that again, that audience type, you know, everybody gets scared together feeling, and this movie was trying to, you know, strike lightning twice. And it really missed the mark, and I think they took it in a direction that felt lazy. Very, very lazy and cobbled together. Especially with the quick turnaround time. You know, Smile 2 came out 2 years ago, and then this, I don't know. It just feels very cash grabby and money fronted, if that makes sense. I'm going to give Smile 2 a light 1.5 out of 5, maybe even a 1 out of 5. I really didn't like it. I just think that I don't know, it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't, that's the biggest thing. This movie entertained me at all. I probably would have stuck up for it like I did the first one, but yeah, this movie never hit the mark for me. So that's my thoughts on Smile 2. Have you seen this movie? What did you think of it? I'm going to be seeing Venom 3 this week, which is exciting. And yeah, other than that, I will see you in the next video.